But no, we don't need an intro, bro. I'm just gonna you're gonna make me overthink it. What is it? We're the hosts of Hindsight. Usually, we're just talking about movies with a visualizer, and we're just gonna do something a little bit different.
Our faces.
Yeah, where you can see us.
Simple as that. You heard us, and you imagine what we look like. We're sorry to break the fourth wall here.
Yeah, we're not really though. That's why we're doing it. Yeah, so today we're gonna just talk about basically 10 critiques that we've gotten on our work. We both work in the creative industries. Me, VR specifically, VR, AR, XR, I guess, and Hakeem does a lot with like production, editing, special effects, and we're just gonna chat about 10 things that we've kind of run into in our work, and you know, hopefully you don't run into these same pitfalls.
And if you do, then you know how to deal with it.
Yeah, legit. I'll kick it off. So my first one is gonna be, why is it in VR?
Number one.
And it's something I feel like I always hear when I'm creating a project. People want to know right off the top, well, why is this project in VR? And I always got to give some type of answer, but the truth, just because now we're just sitting here and I can just say whatever I want, is because I want it to be in VR because I like virtual reality. And that's probably the number one reason my projects are in VR. Like, I could have done a traditional documentary series, you know? I can do a traditional cartoon, but I like VR as a medium. And to me, that's a good enough reason. You can kind of justify it through the project or through the work and different things different techniques you want to use. But really, I think that's just a default question people start to ask. But if you like a medium, you can do whatever you want. You know, if you like VR, you like AR, or you like virtual production, you know what I mean? You can make a project however you want. And if it's your project specifically, don't let these people tell you that it needs to be in a certain format. And I'll leave it there. You know, go ahead.
No, are we allowed to elaborate on it? Yeah. I mean, things are adapted anyways, right? So, like, stories can go beyond their original medium. But if I had to guess, if I had to say, like, why maybe people go to that, it's because it's not like a super widespread medium. So it's like, if you're pursuing making a project in VR, people would assume, oh, it's in there for this certain reason.
Yeah, justify it.
Because like, I think just simply, it's just harder for people to like actually stumble upon it, or like you have to.
I feel you. Like, just the visibility of audience.
Yeah, it's like they can't just pop it on their TV. They have to go through a process.
Yeah, no, that's
to
legit.
do that. So I don't know. Does it allow you to do things that you might not be able to do?
I mean, just as an example and a shameless plug, Shooting Stars is a game that doesn't even exist traditional. You know what I mean? You need to have that 180 for that game to even be a thing. And so that's why I like the
games are different, because I feel like that's
even
like games are like the logical end step for games is like a VR medium, because you're able to interact in a certain way.
Sure. But like, let's say Shadow Society, that's 360 documentary, because we're bringing you to a place that you probably wouldn't be able to get to. Like, you know, we went to like the prison and stuff. Yeah. Everybody ain't just walking into a prison.
Yeah.
No one's gonna really see what these kids are experiencing.
You have to really pay attention.
Family.
You can't, look and get distracted. Like,
well, you're captive. It's a captive audience. Yeah, for sure.
All right, the first one though is length. That's the first one that came to mind, because back when I was doing the docs, it is sort of self-indulgent too, because I want to include all the stuff that I worked really hard to film, and I feel like there's a lot of interesting stuff that you can include. And I mean, yeah, this is a very common one, because it's hard to cut things, but you realize that once you do, and once you see the final product, it's better. It's almost always better
to tighten up the story.
Even though you're like, oh, like like it hurts me. It physically hurts me.
What is it? Kill your babies?
Kill your babies. Yeah,
for sure.
But then you actually realize, and you have to like let that go, because then you're like, oh, this is, of course, like, I had to cut this.
Yep, streamline your story.
Sometimes you don't even realize that a similar point is made in a different way. Like you just don't realize it when you're in the editing suite initially.
Well, that's what feedback is for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, exactly. Yeah. So feedback is definitely just get your project in front of as many eyes as possible. So next.
Let's see what I got. Okay, this one is particular to animation and stuff, and one of the critiques I've gotten is that my animation was too stiff. I understand this because I love animation as well, so I do get that when something's not fluid, and we're getting spoiled these days because those budgets are getting higher and higher for animation, so people are seeing spectacular things. But I do understand, like, when the animation is stiff, I feel like it does hurt the production. I've also, like, used a lot of Mixamo in the past, and I know that basically Mixamo limits animation a little bit because they're canned. You know what I mean? Every animation is not going to fit for every situation and every character. So by using
Explain
Mixamo,
to the people what Mixamo is.
Mixamo is
Terms.
basically a free, if you have Adobe, repository of animations. So you can take these animations, you can bring them into Unreal, bring them into Unity, bring them into Blender, and apply them to characters and make animations. And they're like mocap animations, so a lot of the work's already done for you. And using those can be a little bit jarring for people for the simple fact that they weren't custom made for your character. So you're just applying an animation. I mean, it's good for quick workflows, but at the same time, sometimes the animation's not going to turn out like you want it to, and some people feel some type of way. I've leaned into it in a lot of ways, and I still use Mixamo. I try and find gigs where the Mixamo is going to be worth it, because now I can just do mocap if I need to. I like Mixamo because it's simple and can get things done faster.
Yeah. I feel like once you use it, I mean, I haven't used it, but I feel like certain animations are smoother, and once you know what to look for, I feel like
for sure they're expensive.
It's better.
You just gotta pay for
better,
it.
Yeah. Like you probably could get decent string of animations that like make sense back to back.
But you gotta pay, and it's not gonna be Mixamo. Mixamo is just a giant repository, but I can go into any like store and buy really good animations, and I do that too. You know what I mean? That's how I kind of balance the two. But
yeah,
that Mixamo's a good one.
But yeah, so what would you say the advice is? Just like knowing the best way to get those animations smooth, like different methods?
That's just one of the critiques I've gotten, is the animation can be stiff. And again, it's just whatever you're looking for. Because I've leaned into it. I've gotten that as a critique, but I found jobs that still were just looking for a certain type of animation, and Mixamo was perfect for that. Because I did something for Twitch, and they were almost looking for that style of animation. Right. And so it works out sometimes.
Yeah. What I was meaning to ask was like, you took that critique and did what with it?
I took that critique and I just was a little bit more like selective of what animation jobs I would take on, knowing what my capabilities were.
Entertainment value is my next one. So, as someone that does a lot of, or that has done a lot of non-narrative work, documentary work, it's always a challenge to incorporate the entertainment value, the attention, as we get into the age where attention spans are less and less. I mean, especially I do a lot of video marketing for certain companies, and they're on social media, me myself as well in the past, but it's always like we're in this era where people have gotten so attuned to quick content, so you need to know how to edit in a certain way and build stories in a certain way that is like just engaging. And especially coming from just like trying to get interviews, trying to interview people, trying to like add entertaining stuff, like it's hard because you have to get creative. And with docs doing documentaries and trying to like add that entertainment value, add those characters in, like finding those ways to just enhance the entertainment. But it is also just like, it's just thinking about it and thinking as a viewer, can I watch this and get am I entertained all the way through? Can I figure out an editing style that works for me, that I'm like, okay, I have like a couple hours of footage that I need to cut down, but you just gotta trust the process and get feedback. And there is something in there that's entertaining, but you just have to.
I feel like you've gotten way better at that, if I'm being honest. Yeah. Like over time, I've definitely seen your videos like skyrocket, and then like entertainment value. There's a formula now. Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, you could be talking about fucking taxes, and I'd be like, okay,
with the little the little like orbit shot you be doing.
Literally anything, any topic you can make entertaining. And that's, I mean, you know, I like learning shit, and that was the sort of idea behind why I came to LA and wanted to do it. Like, there's so much interesting stuff, but you gotta make it consumable for like an audience, and that's the hard part.
It is.
Like, anyone can go out with a phone and record some shit, record like a protest or a festival or something, but like, that's only the beginning. That's the easy part.
The edit is the hard part. To me, the edit is the hard part, always.
Yeah, because I mean, some of the
that's why
contract
a
work,
lazy edit.
some of the contract work I get, it's not my favorite, but like, the shit isn't planned. Like, it's actually made in the edit, and as much as I don't like that, because I would prefer things to be like super planned out. Like, this is, you know, we have to piece this together in this way. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's a lot of the work that's out there, but you know, you just gotta learn to kind of work with it in the most efficient way possible, so you're not wasting your time and get into V10 and 20.
Ooh, you talking to the wrong person, bro. I'm about to put that on here.
And, you know, and then you're having to request extra budget. Anyways, we could go into it.
Yeah, definitely go into that one. Okay, so this is another one that is animation kind of specific. And you know what? This is not animation specific, but my experience was in animation. And that was having boring characters. Characters who the audience is not connecting with, characters who the audience does not know what they want, audience doesn't know what they're afraid of, and I mean, ultimately it's the connection thing. They're not finding any reason why they care about these characters. I feel like I battle with that a little bit. That one of the things I got on like my cartoon series Max Caliber is sometimes people would say like, I don't know why I would be connected with this character, or they'll ask me questions about the character that me as the creator, maybe I had already thought that I had answered that question, but then you remember like you're just sitting with this stuff all the time. You know what I mean? You have a lot of things going on in your head that the audience may not actually be getting access to. You know what I mean? They may not have understood that piece about the character because you did just make it like implicit enough. Yeah, I don't even have like, I don't have anything to combat that critique, but you just got to sit with your characters and make them interesting. You got to know their wants,
I don't
their
know.
fears.
I mean, you
need
can't
to know those things about your character.
But
And
you don't want to show everything though, because that
You
makes
don't,
it just
but
too
you still want the audience to connect. The audience has to connect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're not going to stick around, and that's the main reason. Like, sure, you want to leave some mystery because you want the story to progress.
Yeah, you can know it, but you don't have to.
But the audience needs enough. The audience needs enough to stay hooked. And if you don't have enough,
I've shown you a lot of stuff with the docs.
For sure.
That's like, we don't need to know all this. Like, you can know it, but
you need to hook them. You still got to hook them, and so they need to learn enough about your character. There needs to be a scene, even at the beginning, that just at least expresses what they want. If nothing, you know what I mean? Because that's what will make, or character traits will make like a quirk or something like that. You just gotta
make
hook
people
them.
care about it.
Make it.
Because I mean, we talk all about it all the time on hindsight. Like, does it actually affect
all the
us?
time? Yeah.
Affect us if this character dies? But sometimes it's not. They don't do a great job of making us care about characters.
And so when they die or something, you're like, oh, good riddance.
So
instead of having that emotional impact.
And it's a good thing to know that even on the biggest scale, it's still not. People don't do a great job.
It's hard to make people care about things that aren't real. You know what I mean? They're fictional characters, and you have to generate that emotion in somebody for this fictional character.
Yeah.
And that's a situational thing. Again, that's quirks, personality traits, whatever it is that makes you say, I'm curious as to what's going to happen next to this person in this setting, or with this character, or with this ensemble. Like, these guys are an interesting mix. Maybe nobody individually is catching your interest, but as a group, you can see, okay, there's a dynamic here. I'm curious to see where this goes. So, I mean, yeah, just really knowing your characters, I guess, and trying to get that across.
Self-indulgence. All right, we finally come back around. I feel like this is widely encompassing. I just thought of it because, I mean, there's a lot of filmmakers, a lot of creatives that have their idea, but they just don't know when to reel it back. If you give free reign on, Shyamalan, fucking Scorsese, like all these people, you've seen like well, you've seen studio interference and producer interference, and then you've seen like, okay, free blank check.
Yeah.
And then what was the Scorsese one that was on Netflix?
Is it The Gentleman or something like that? Or
Irishman.
There we go.
Good movie, had some good, but 3+ hours long.
Bro, let's not even get into that one.
I don't even think we did a hindsight of that.
I don't think we did either because it was too long.
Yeah,
that was a pandemic movie.
Yeah, good gangster movie, but again, just self-indulgent, and I think that's the case. I mean, again, good movie, but there wasn't someone to be like, okay, is a wide audience gonna appreciate this?
Cut it. It was timing though, because
and maybe that's not a good example because people did like it, but
people sat there for 3 hours.
It's not like a widely, acclaimed movie. Yeah, maybe that's. I don't know. What do you think is a good example? There's a couple of Shyamalan movies where he
I think that was a good example though. Like that was, it was too much.
But anyways, like, yeah. So critiques that I'll get, like if I show someone something, is like, you're doing too much of the thing that I know you for, which, you can have a little bit of that, but you're just going overboard. Making it too long, making it have too much information that maybe you think is important, but actually people can figure out on their own. Adding, I mean, if you want to take it literally adding yourself into the story is self-indulgent, and I've definitely done that before. And just inserting, there's a couple of documentarians that insert themselves in the story. It's like, do you have to insert yourself? Do you have to, like, is this your story, or are you just showing yourself? Yeah, for sure. Because
as we do that.
Because hey, hindsight's a good example where we don't really care if people see us. It's just one person's opinion, but again, it's like, do you have to put yourself? And everyone has, can put ideas into their stories, but you don't have to literally put yourself into it. Yeah. And but sometimes we do our own voices, but that's
not us being ourselves. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's just us with budgetary.
And it's also we wouldn't if we had like the proper budget.
It's gonna be us or AI.
But, and that's the differentiation. Like if you, I mean, and I will say, if like you have the opportunity to give someone else, like have someone else like collaborate with you on your project, then do it. Like,
more brains make it like a project better. So not all brains, but usually more brains make a project better. Okay, so another one I have is not enough graphics or something not being like visually interesting enough. And this is really like an opinion kind of thing, because some people don't like a bunch of lower thirds or a bunch of things popping up all over the place, and some people feel like content is boring without it. You know what I mean? But that's just one where I feel like some clients have said, like, liven it up a little bit, or they want more graphics popping up to tell more information. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just like little factoids. Maybe it's they want videos coming up in little pop-up bubbles and stuff. And you get a lot of different things, but I guess I've learned, or I'll just say not even learned, this is just how I edit now. When I have a project like this, I will have a pop-up. I'll have a pop-up, and I'll have a lower third, like, kind of like template. And I will always insert, not always, but a lot of times I'll insert a pop-up. I'll do the lower third. I'll have a similarly stylized pop-up, and I'll probably get like 2 in there. And I feel like by adding the 2, it kind of sets the stage to where someone can be like, oh, that's too many, and I can just drop them out. Or they'll be like, that's not enough, but they've already seen that template, so I can just keep on spamming that same thing. And it's kind of helped me avoid people saying there's not enough graphics, because it's like I have like a base level of graphics I'll put in there. And then they can kind of decide, because they're going to have an opinion. You know what I mean? They're going to say more or less, or it's fine. You know what I mean? But by showing them all the things, it's like now they can kind of even figure out for themselves what they want. So I guess a lot of clients just don't even know what they want, period.
Yeah, I mean, it's dangerous because sometimes they'll want more.
Yeah, for sure. But again, giving them that baseline lets them know, like,
so you're not having to go back and waste your time.
And add all the graphics. Like, I just try and do something. So it's like, hey, it could go this direction. But now you at least see
But
what your
then,
options
yeah,
are.
I mean, the templates is good because you're not having to like do extra work.
Yeah, no, I make like Mogurt files that are like similar to whatever the
Oh
lower
yeah,
third
dude,
is.
that's so, yeah. I mean, for events or podcast interviews, it's easy to just
Yep,
put
bro.
'em in,
Those
you know?
Mogurts changed everything.
Yeah.
Once I realized I can make those in After Effects, oh my god.
And then you can
Oh my
really sell
God.
yourself more because it's like you're not actually doing that much more work, but
Yeah,
it's like
but you can also
the
have custom
production
style,
value
yeah,
is
yep.
like way
Yeah,
heightened.
for sure.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with the poppers. I feel like it's just production value, and some people view production value differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
In reality, yeah, that's almost another job that people see, but in your reality, that's nothing.
yeah, but I mean, I might have to tax you like it's another job because it
Yeah,
technically
exactly.
is another job.
This kind of is similar to the last one, but doing too much. I mean, I guess it kind of goes on with that, but doing too much when not actually that much is needed, putting more effort into it than is required. I've heard you say dude, you're doing too much. Like,
Well, you're the king of doing too much, but I may at least be
even
the prince.
this fucking thing, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
I was like, we gotta have multiple angles,
Multiple
we gotta
cameras,
have,
we gotta get
have
the-
the thing in the corner. Should I make it blue or light?
I know that I'm not
red?
opposed to too much in a lot of cases,
Um,
but sometimes it is. You know.
Yeah, especially with the client, because they can't see what they're not coming from the same perspective as you are,
Yeah.
and you don't want to be doing too much and just be taken advantage of as well.
Yeah.
And just like be the guy that just does everything, and then you have that reputation, and you're just selling yourself short.
Bro, that's literally
Yeah.
me. It's the scope creep starts to become so real. And we'll have to get into that in another one, but watch out for
Yeah.
that scope creep.
So, but I will say, if it's your own personal project, I say you
Go
can
for
probably
it. Yeah, but still be
not-
careful. Be careful.
not do too much, because that's what you're trying to put your best foot forward.
But still, sometimes too much is too much, and you can like oversaturate a project that
Yeah.
would have been good. With
Yeah,
less.
and it's like, you know, if it's like a pitch or something, and people don't necessarily, they just need to see the vision,
Yeah,
the bare
yeah,
minimum.
yeah,
You don't
yeah.
necessarily need to make the full thing. You can just make a little piece to show off what's possible.
Yep, I also get
Yeah.
a little bit too lost in that sometimes, but you know, neither here nor there. All right, and my last one is going to be one you might even be able to agree with, and that is, it's too long. It's been my
Hey.
critique.
Finally, we have-
It's too long.
We have a similar, or we have a matching critique, or criticisms.
Yeah, I have put videos out there, and it's like, bro, you need to shave 5 minutes off of that, or you need to shave 10 minutes off of that. And sometimes you have that idea in your mind, or you feel like the story's not gonna come through if you don't have all this time. But sometimes you're wrong, and you can just pull elements out of it that aren't even important. But again, like you said with the attention spans, sometimes it's just too long, and you just gotta cut. And cutting hurts. It hurts. You know.
You know what? I've thought about it recently, where you can have the long version. Put it
Yes.
on fucking Patreon
Yes, you can have
for
the
your
long
diehard supporters or some shit.
But hey, if it's client work and they're saying it's too long,
Yeah.
just cut, man. Don't even worry about it. Don't think too much about it. It's not your project.
Yeah.
Cut it.
All right, my last one. It's actually a little different direction, but it's a particular area of the medium. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, but sound design music. I'll just say it. So, sound design, especially on I guess, well, really, I was gonna say create like short films or documentary, like actually things that you're putting out there for people to be entertained rather than like commercial but pretty much everything sound design can enhance
For sure.
your work. And
For
so I guess a criticism, like, I mean, I don't know if it's a specific criticism, but it just adds so much, because like the whole vibe of the project, whether it be a commercial or a short film or a feature film or a documentary, can be enhanced with great music, using a variety of music. I know a ton of just contract work that I've done, like changing the music every 30 seconds is helpful in not getting bored, not, people's minds drifting off. Like, it adds so much. If you have a great story there and people still say they're bored, maybe more than likely try adding different music, adding sound effects to actually enhance the attention span.
Emotional shifts too.
I think that is like an element that is important that people overlook, because it's like, it's always the last thing that people think about, but I think it's super important. I mean, on Link, my short film, hopefully coming out soon, I think I didn't even have a specific idea for what the movie. I had a general idea, but like once I hired like an actual professional to kind of go crazy on it, it just took it to a level that I didn't see when I was first making it. But I think certain beats hit harder, and I think that goes for anything. If you're doing an emotional story, like finding where the transition moments are,
it did
adding like
harder, actually.
Water effects. If it's like, even if it's like a hero video, you're looking to like make an event entertaining, or just follow someone's story, like making water effects when there's water, or engine effects. Like, those things like really help, and those are easy to get nowadays, of course, with it's like AI sound effect websites and
but also like motion array and just
stock websites. So it's like you can easily make your videos better by adding sound design and music.
Agreed. Well, hey, that's our 10 right there. And I hate to say we out on some hindsight, but we out.